Hi. Hello. Welcome to a definitely kind of class, but I want to keep it sort of relaxed and introduce you to many concepts, some characters, and some art because I find that much more useful than science. The science is hidden. One sec. Pardon me. So to just say hi, I'm Katie. This is the Art of Nervous System Regulation. And I just want to show you. It's just art. Yeah, it's art as it relates to you and your body. So all of this comes from a bunch of practices from China that predate acupuncture that include a whole philosophy system called Neidan, as well as somatic practices that lead to tantric experiences. So one of the promises of this practice is, I don't know that TikTok can see it, this here, the alchemical birth. So you don't have to have alchemical birth. I'm just saying, some of us do. And so the idea is that you're comfortable or as comfortable as you can be, as comfy as you can be. I am in pain all the time. So comfort for me is absolutely a relative concept. And something that really helps me and my clients and students get to where whatever it is of the day is gravity. So let's do gravity first. And the technique is called sense of bum. So we'll do sense of bum and the healing smile together. And then I'll share with you the sounds and we'll do the sounds together. So sense of bum is gravity. That's all it is. It's finding gravity. And then saying, oh, yes, I am on something. So what can happen with dissociation in particular is the body's present, somebody's reporting on it, but we aren't fully coherent or congruent to the moment. Sense of bum is a way to connect with your body before you even connect to self. This is very helpful with somatics, and sense of bum I have associated with exteroception, which is neuroscience for where am I in space? So you can see. So when you get your download, you'll have this for yourself. This is the exteroception. This is the lived experience of existing in space. So I've applied neuroscience to Tao and turned it into art. The exteroception, sense of bum, gravity, you exist. First most important thing in any kind of trauma work, you exist. Not yourself, not your parts, all of this exists. And when we get connected to and on a surface, we start to experience this connection here. This is the Nijing 2. This is a chart from Chinese medicine that I have printed on a whiteboard so I can write on it for you. But this is your bum. This is sense of bum. When you go to the acupuncturist, you'll see versions of this. In acupuncture, I'm using it as a way to communicate many different things one way. So here's sense of bum. The healing smile happens up here in the head, which you can see has a Buddha. And look at these two eyes. It's almost like two eyes and a smile. That is your pineal gland. This is typically called the moon. And this is the point where when we're babies, you suck on your thumb. This is where you latch as an infant nursing. So we bring the tip of the tongue to the ridge behind the upper teeth to the moon, and then we smile towards the sun. Healing smile. Many cultures don't smile to signal pleasant. If smiling to signal pleasant isn't something that you do, then do something else. But it's bringing the tip of your tongue to that ridge behind your upper teeth. And so we have sense of bum. And now we're smiling. I'm going to tell you, I'm not having a great day. There's not much in me that feels like smiling today. And I'm smiling. I'm smiling as though I deserve it, which I do believe I deserve a kind smile. Some folks like to close eyes with this. I do find with certain kinds of sensory experiences, eyes open is more available for some folks. So however it works for you, and you smile to you, to your bum, to your sense of bum. So it's almost like you have the smile on your face, and then your attention, your awareness. I'm shaking. You don't have to rock, by the way. You can just be sitting on a chair. I like to be a little obvious, but smile down to your bum. And then smile towards your belly. This can be a really big deal. There's a lot of stuff here. So if this is a big deal, maybe you don't touch it. Maybe you're just looking. Maybe you notice. Maybe you're breathing. Maybe you have the thought. But to bring attention and awareness to the belly and the gut, look what's going on here. As you're smiling, this is your stomach. This is how the stomach is displayed as an organ. Very active. We got to be nice to the stomach. Yeah. So we smile to the belly. And here's your gut biome. This is a chart from Chinese medicine if you're just joining. Here's your gut biome. Then of our field, that's your bum. We're smiling to the belly. So you could even smile to the bean, to your belly. I have free downloads of bean on my website. I'm working on getting all of the free stuff together in one simple zip file that you can just have. But smile to your belly. And then this is your heart space, heart area. This is pericardium and heart. See, there's a little kid on a bridge. It's a child on the star bridge. Smile to the child on the bridge for your heart. As though, smile as though, child on the bridge. And then we are up here in the brain, the head. We call this the crystal palace in the tradition. This maps to your homunculus in your brain. I can show you how your default mode network shows up here. So just smile to your head. Smile as though you're smiling to this area right here, wherever that would be inside. We call this the crystal palace. And this is where very important glands in your brain reside. Hypothalamus is here, our amygdala, pituitary, pineal, so much happening, even more than what you might think of as third eye awareness. This is whole brain smiling. In trauma science lands, not neuroscience, trauma science, I'm going to make a distinction there. The smiling is assigned to this idea of social engagement. And Peter Levine, who developed the polyvagal theory, speaks to an idea called the social engagement network. And what the polyvagal theory tells us is when we're smiling, that is engaged. What Katie Zitter-Bart, understander of neuroscience and deep neural networks, will tell you is, sure, yes, and there's a lot that goes on with the smile. We're lifting. If you do it with intent, you're also meaning something behind it. So it's not just, it's a communication. There's a circuit. Excuse me, that's my water. My cat doesn't care. The healing smile, I have associated with the experience of pain. And I have pain named as nociception. This is my version of my twin brother, David. So he's the personification of pain right now. So this Shen, S-H-E-N, Shen are the entities in Chinese medicine that assist. They are written to live in our organs. And there's one that's like the spirit of the self. So we have Shen in 5 of our organs, major organs. We have the Shen of the self. And then Katie just made up a whole bunch of Shen, which are the lived experience of all these big science words everybody wants us to understand all the time. That's great. What you need is a tool, technique, smile. You don't even have to smile to the pain or smile to the problem, just smile. My teacher used to speak to the way that we are so kind to children and like wounded animals, and then to ourselves, how we can be so harsh and certain. And that smiling is a way to rewire some of that. So we have the sense of bum and the healing smile. And the download is $15. Please do not let money keep it away from you. Let me know, okay? There is a concept in, well, first of all, hello, Taoism. Everybody has thought of yin and yang at least once in your life, I'm sure. I have displayed polarity as dynamic, and there's an opening here. This is the corona, by the way. This is where I believe that we, truly as a species, very much as traumatized, neurodivergent human stranger on the internet, this corona, this becomes like the difference between knowing and understanding. It is the totality that can never, ever, ever, ever be changed, and the possibility of transformation. I understand this as a magnet now that I have experienced the golden elixir directly. This is like a dipole magnet. It is shown, it is displayed in the bean here as primordial yin and yang. So you have more than one way you can relate to solid, certain, and present. Another way that I teach this is as genus and species in like biology, where you have kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. These last two, that gets us to genus, species. That makes us a human being, a whole ass human. So the polarity in Tao is not something that needs to be dealt with or resolved or any, it just is. It's like the sun coming up and going down. It's just a thing that happens. The way that we address that and work with it is through a principle called tensegrity. Tensegrity in architecture, this is bringing us into the emotional body. tensegrity in architecture it's the same kind of stuff that makes like suspension bridges exist. I still don't believe in it, by the way. I do not believe in mechanical tensegrity. I think it's magic, but I totally understand biomechanical tensegrity or biotensegrity. So this is a rendering of that. When I say rendering, I'm meaning I absolutely use machine language to do this. I seeded a cosmic egg and then ran it through a bunch of interpolations of math. So this, I am a teacher, thank you. Biotensegrity, we experience through our connective tissue, through our fascia. I would like to suggest you contemplate maybe emotions and fascia have a relationship. Perhaps the pathways of pain occur in fascia. I'm suggesting that you contemplate that because it's true. It is a fact. The current research is still like looking to prove that fascia is a sense organ, and it absolutely is. Our connective tissue also holds lymph. It is the home of fluid. There's fluid, and it forms these sheets. And then there's fluid in between the sheets. And when fascia is alive, it can do so many amazing things, including cause a lot of pain. Ask anybody who's hypermobile or who has scars. That cannot be comfortable. And understanding fascia biotensegrity as the lived experience of tension or just right tension, and mechanical tensegrity as the external. What happens with Tao is we have this third zone or third space. Taoism calls it Wu Wei, W-U-W-E-I. I would not have been able to tell you what that is a couple of years ago. Do I have it? I may not have put it in this. Here it is. So these are all Merkabas, all these renderings that I've done for you. Here is Wu Wei. The middle appears to disappear. And that is not a steady state. That is a dynamic state. I'm looking for some CMY so I can show you that this idea of like a regulated nervous system or balance or like all this stuff. It's like trying to catch a kitten covered in oil, eating a churro. I don't know. It's very difficult. Can't do it. Or, pinning a cloud. What was that show? How do you solve a problem like Maria? How do you take a cloud and pin it down? You don't. The cloud exists. So do your emotions. So this CMY, this is a CMY Merkaba. Oh, no, this is a dodecahedron. So this is a piece of glass or something glass-like. It doesn't feel like crystal. That has cyan, blue, and yellow, the three primary. They're not colors. They're pigments. And when I'm turning this, you can see it like it'll become a rainbow. Sometimes it becomes clear. When it's clear, that's the Wu Wei. So this is always a whole thing, always existing, always has all of the facets and aspects. And every so often we get that little hint, just that little, oh, yeah, I can see right through that. As though. So Wu Wei is a combination of tension and homeostasis is the biology term. I have homeostasis rendered in this bathroom book, which I have now turned into just a digital download because it's easier. I have homeostasis shown as a variation of the polarity of yin and yang. because it's dynamic. Also, this is you and me, by the way. This is how Taoism shows alignment in space. So this here that you can see, this I found years after I rendered this. Because it's all like, can I see it quite? If I'm trying to regulate and get it just right, not only am I always going to fail, I am not going to survive. That is not how growth occurs. It's not. It occurs through breathing. Let's do some breaths. So these are called the healing sounds. You might hear these referred to as the healing sounds. My teacher, Mantak Chia, is pretty famous for his work in this, Mantakchia. He is a great place to go for like the physical practices. If you don't want to come to me, go to him. He's amazing. And truly like an actual master of all of this. I am a learned student. And the philosophy that he's coming from is a little bit different than what I'm bringing in. I'm also not really about the O. I mean, I like an O, believe me, but I'm not all about the O. Though that energy, the energy is the stuff that heals. So the first spirit, the first Shen, this is a historic Shen, by the way, is Po, the spirit of the lungs. Po is one of the two characters that Carl Jung brought with him when he appropriated this practice from China. I am here to correct some of that. So what Po does, and what all of these Shen in our organs do, the shortcut is it's like shame goes out, and then that cycle of emotion, we need to have a way to have a whole range of experiences. But that's just how the body is. So Po governs or manages or helps to balance grief and courage. Po is associated with the metal element here, it's shown in gray. It's white traditionally, but I show it in gray. And this is metal. This is the iron in your blood. This is the magnet of the existing. Metal is the ring on your finger. Metal is when you go to the acupuncturist and they do acupuncture. Metal is the music you like, whatever metal is. We can have it in our hands as metal. We have it as a metaphor in the body. And now we have it personified as Po. The emotions are grief and courage. And it's an S, just a long S sound. So you get your sense of your smile. Smile to your lungs. I gave you a target though, because I'm nice like that. So you could also smile towards the target. Vets love this, by the way. It's a different way to target something. So you breathe in courage and let go of grief with us. Super simple. Breathing in courage and letting go of grief. The next one is Ji. Ji. Ji and I have a very direct relationship. This is kidneys. This is the whole water element of the totality of you. So this is urine, but it's also lymph. It's all of the fluid in the body. And water, my friends, is a really important thing to understand from a physics perspective, because water floats when it's frozen. Water floats when it is frozen. Freeze and flight might as well be the same, according to this, because the water element has gone poof, way up. So what Ji does is Ji helps to balance it primarily through the experience of shock and calm. Shock, like, you know how sometimes you'll almost have an accident, a car accident, and like one person in the car goes, and the another person in the car is like, oh, okay. That's Ji. Ji is the, and the, oh, okay. And the sound is chew, C-H-O, whoa, 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 whoa. So you smile to your kidneys. This is on your back. So you can smile to the target as though it's your back. Breathe in calm and let go of shock with chew. Super simple. And look, pretty art. I mean, you're welcome to look at scientific charts that tell you how to measure things, but I guarantee you, the child within wants to look at art and play. It's just how it is. Next is our liver. This is anger and forgiveness. This is the Hun. The Hun is one of the other two entities that Carl Jung brought with him when he appropriated this from China. Hun is mapped to the wood element. I personally have a difficult time understanding Hun as anything other than masculine. Shen are inherently femme. So that's just an interesting, because we all have our own relationship to this too. Like, what is anger for you? What is anger for me? So one of the ways that Hun assists with our emotional body and our fascia, our inner experience of tension, is by helping to relieve anger. So you breathe in whatever forgiveness means for you today, who knows, and let go of anger with shush. Shh. Just like that. Inhale. Shh. None of this has to be specific. This is brushing your teeth. Okay? If you have young ones in your home, this is a really amazing thing. Maybe they have some, maybe there's a character or somebody or something, I don't know, that they can associate with. If not, give them mine. The one of the ways that I have applied these breaths medicinally, I don't want to say as medicine, but I have applied them medicinally, has been in like guiding folks through smoking cessation, or absolutely any of the interoception, proprioception, all of those TION words that get assigned to autism in particular, functional neurological disorder very much. Because these breaths begin in your organs, they are somatic. Okay? Because they are located in your body, not because you're breathing. Breathing enough it's not enough to make something somatic for a human who is experiencing dissociation, trauma, any of that. It's not enough. All of these narratives saying that all you have to do is breathe, they don't understand yoga. They don't understand somatics. They understand the measurement and the observation, and that's necessary. The execution, we got to make it messy. Execution has to happen at the level of bullshit, because that's about all that you're going to retain. Like, your PhD won't matter if you can't do 2 + 2 = 4. Here's your heart. This is the prime Shen. So the Shen exist in many different ways. The Shen of the organs, the main Shen of all of your organs, is your heart. This is the first one I rendered. I see this as me and this as Shen. Most people see this as Shen and this as human. So however you understand that when you get the materials, and then look, there's another target. And I show very specifically, it's as though you're looking in a mirror. This is a big thing for me, friends. if you are learning something about your body and your body, like what you're learning is not displayed as though you're just looking in a mirror, you have to do math. It's not good. This is one of the reasons we don't like going to the doctor, by the way. Nobody understands it except for information architects. So the Shen, love and hate, or joy and hate. The sound is ha. And yes, you can have too much love. Hello. Obsessive love. Hate, anger. This is a really good emotion when it is balanced, when we can be with it, right? So the sound is ha. And so you breathe in love and go, let go of the hate to your heart, your actual flipping organ, your soma, your literal body, not the idea, not the, oh, isn't that nice? Here's the one we all need, though. This is spleen. This is not stomach. Would I hold that up so you can take a screenshot? Yes. Did you want this? I also have almost all of these published somewhere, some way or another, if there's anything in particular that you want. I am of the opinion that this should be as available as possible. I also am, need to eat. So trust and worry are associated with the spleen, not the stomach. Why not the stomach, Katie? Because the stomach is a bull. Okay, the stomach is bullshit. Stomach is not bullshit. Stomach is very, 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 very active. Your vagus nerve goes straight through the stomach. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, you wanted the heart. Sorry, hold on. Let me give you the heart. Your vagus nerve goes right through your stomach. So in any kind of stress, turmoil, ongoing rumination, that's a huge piece and a big factor into the experience of stomach upset. Oh, I'm so happy you got your book. I need to like redo this in a way that's easier for all of us. I might need to just pre-order and sell. I don't really want to do that, but I might need to. Just be like, oh. So the Shen of the heart is one of the, if you go, because I know some of you are going to like want to read up on this. The Shen, when TCM speaks to treating Shen, almost always they're speaking to treating the heart Shen and the Shen of the Soma, Shen of the self, the Shen that lives in the crystal palace. To be honest, unless I want to do Amazon, I don't know. I have to figure all that out. I think this needs to be a notebook is what it needs to be, like a wire bound something, but also cards. This is your head. I got very distracted by that. KDP. Delve trauma. I guess it doesn't matter. Let's just look at Buddha. Okay, happy. So you did the healing smile. Oh, the stomach. Okay, so your vagus nerve goes straight through your stomach. In this chart, it's associated with the ox herd. Historically, ox and ox herding are massively important to cosmology, ethos, labor. I mean, like any concept you can imagine, ox are there. And within the context of the Nijing 2 of that chart, it has to do with the labor of the stomach. It also has to do with the peen, right? Because it's with a boy, it's not with a girl. And the story, the narrative, the legend is that the ox herd and this is the weaver. This is your spleen, by the way. This is what we all need to learn. The weaver holds this metal. I think of it as a sword. The spleen is displayed in the historic anatomical charts as it looks like a blade. the way this is written, so if this is the Crystal Palace, this is the Hara, this is the Crimson Palace, the crimson tide, the redness. Also the Central Palace. Fruition depends on the earth of the Central Palace. So here's the earth of the planet, the earth of the Central Palace. You also, do you see how many landings there are in this chart? There's a lot of implied gravity here. Okay, and that gives us dimension that when you relate to this as interface becomes, the whiteboard is really cool. You can also do it on like metal, but I like the whiteboard better. We can, I'm going to show you. No, let's go back to the beginning. So we had our sense of bum. So first you do your sense of bum, healing smile, belly, heart, head, 6 healing sounds. So there were the 5. The lungs is the S. Kidneys is chew. Liver is shush. Heart is ha. Spleen is whoo, like an owl. And then there's a 6th sound. And this is the one that's the most important. That sound goes to your pericardium. I think the TCM text would call it the triple warmer. I'm labeling it the pericardium. This is going to help us with the experience of proprioception. Or where the frick am I? All of your friends who walk into walls. Yes, this is for us, proprioception. In the new printing, this is magenta to show the bridge from the TCM towards what I'm doing, adding on to it, just to give us all context. The sound is he. And I want to say, as undiagnosed autistic, profoundly, whatever all the labels I had, chronic illness, I've been in pain every day for over 40 years. I'm coming out of 5 years of, oh, so much excitement. So much excitement. Gravity, smile, breathe. My whole life, I've never been able to tell you what a feeling is. Somebody asked me if I respect. I don't know what respect is. I don't know what happy. I don't know what that. I know where my heart is. I know where my liver is. Okay. So if I can relate to the idea of anger being in my liver, because that's what they tell me in Chinese medicine. I'm studying shit that predates acupuncture and it has not changed. The lessons in the literature from before BC to today, same. This has not been appropriated. Pain body. Yes, the pain body. I don't have a lot to say specifically to that beyond my own personal experience has been when I'm contemplating my body as dimensional. And all that means, friends, is that like you just understand that like on a piece of paper is not the same as like a whole ass human. Gravity helps to increase the, I don't like window of tolerance. I don't like window as a metaphor at all. What the frick is a window? Windows didn't exist when we were born as a species. It's a ridiculous metaphor. But it increases capacity. It's like everything kind of gets bigger. And I've noticed that I've gotten more wise about how and when I'm choosing to, I do choose to, I'll say it, dissociate from my pain. Like I have days where I'm just like, that's not happening. Today I was dissociating a little bit, but that was because I was having feelings, like emotions. Oh, I big feelings and emotions. And so, you know, that's a little bit of a different experience. So I don't want to say, Michelle, that this makes all the pain go away. I can promise you that it changes how you relate to your body. And it is an inherently neutral way to relate. All of Taoism occurs in moral neutrality. It assumes neutral. It assumes. So good and bad, or like lifting or lowering or pushing and pulling, these are all as though they might as well just be like, could I talk about the spleen? Yes, let's discuss the spleen. Let me see if I can show you a picture. Actually, okay. In TCM, wait, oh, I might actually, I do have, so I want to talk about the spleen. I need to get something to show you for that. So in Chinese medicine, we relate to the fullness of yin. Okay, the fullness of yin in the body shows up in the way that our organs are paired. And I didn't make up the pairings. I'm just doing a book report for you right now, but this takes us to spleen. So the theory that your TCM doctor is using to determine your course of treatment is called the 5 elements theory. And it is based on the elements that go with those emotions I was sharing about earlier and the characters. Here we go. And so here's a chart from Chinese medicine. This circle here, this is the generation cycle. This circle and this in here, the restriction, these are the relationships that the organs and also the Shen have with each other. The way that the organs are paired, having trouble breathing this week. Sorry, it's been humid and I have long COVID. So organs are paired yin and yang. So we go back to that magnet. There's a yin organ and a yang organ. Stomach and spleen are paired. Stomach is yang, spleen is yin. Heart and small intestine are paired. Heart is yang, small intestine, or heart is yin, small intestine is yang. So yin organs are full all the time. Yang organs empty and fill. It's a real simple way to contemplate it. And all of that is a one-to-one until we get to stomach and spleen. Spleen is full all the time, stomach isn't. This does some stuff alchemically. So if you think about alchemy as, this is not my chart, this is somebody else's chart. So here we are coming into the body through the side. And alchemy, okay, what I'm guiding towards is this. It's all of this, but we get into it through myth. The spleen gets us behind the nerve, for one thing. It gets us behind the vagus nerve, closer to the spine, because this is where we experience our central axis. The weaver, as the conductor, is, let me get you the weaver. She's in this chart. She's the gal who's in the middle of the bean. So do you see how she has this connection into the spine and the esophagus? So this is showing a connection between spleen and esophagus trachea. This is your esophagus and trachea. This child on the bridge, this is our pericardium. This is its own plane of existence. So if this was the X and the Y axis on a piece of paper, the pericardium would be the Z axis. It would be how we experience this. Okay, and our spleen is kind of like right there. So that is how I understand spleen. Spleen also is connected to the earth element. And in Chinese medicine, I'll use CMY for this. Here's earth, here's fire, and here's water. The earth element, that's your sense of bum, ass in the grass. However, like we could make it like, you know, truly some sort of guru thing. It's just very practical, ass in the grass. There is no shen in the earth, in the body. Shen are only placed in the heart and the head. Okay, so I have the shen of my heart, I have the shen of my human, and then I have the earth element in my soma, in my body. And so when we relate to the earth element in our body, it also relates us to earth. Also, I would argue by not having shen placed in the gut, it is implying generations of human. So that there's space for a new life that occurs through this amazing magical process where a sperm and a zygote get together and a whole ass human, a whole human, a whole, like, what? That's amazing. This was so incredible to the Taoists. A lot of the practices in Neidan are specific to experiencing pregnancy. They were so enamored and understanding. This bean, here's a color version. This bean also shows epigenetics. I'm doing a treatment of this for epigenetics that I'm hoping to actually sell, like really, because it speaks to ancestry. And so when we go into the tantric practices, here I can show you in this chart, it's a little bit less intimidating. When we go into the tantric practices and we're like, see this little baby here? Oh yeah, we're like, oh my goodness me. Everybody's dancing, we're having fun, you're reading poems, I'm getting stuff together, I promise. That is much more exciting than whatever the last thing I was. Here from the Tantra. So Neidan is the practice, Neidan. Neidan is, I truly did not know that this is what I've been practicing my whole life. I just thought I was being philosophy and paying attention to like not being an asshole as much as I can. As it so happens, that is what Neidan is. And since most of what I study is non-dual in nature, it has just kept me in this inquiry. The tantric practices that we might assign to this idea of like sexy fun time have to do with understanding arousal from the base. So emotional alchemy occurs understanding arousal here, like it's happening, or how are we doing it? This is also how we would place the social in a biopsychosocial model. Biopsychosocial. So the tantric practices are about getting into that earth element, getting connected to it. You do the healing sounds, 6 healing sounds, microcosmic, or everybody's doing that. And then we are looking at other things. Arousal without Shen being, arousal without Shen being involved if it's from the base. Well, excuse me for just like totally losing my mind over that. That is such an accurate way to say it. I've never had, thank you. Thank you, Jess. Wow. That's amazing. Like I was just proud of myself when I noticed that there's no Shen in the belly. And do you know how many bots? I have so many GPTs attuned to this stuff because I'm also bringing in neuroscience and cultural ontology and political science. None of this is really connected in the machine. And this is why I want to teach the Tantra as a tool for decolonization, very particularly, because the contemplation that occurs through the extraordinary vessels. So when we're just this, being a gestating being, whatever we're in, is that the placenta, the uterus? Yeah, that it has 8 extraordinary vessels, they're called. They're like the meridians on the planet. Or I think of it more like an atom with the electrons and stuff, because there's energy to me. I just don't know all the science words. Those 8 extraordinary vessels, Jess, I'm going to have to compensate you for that. Those 8 extraordinary vessels, when the cord is cut, it said the bagua emanates. The bagua is the tool that all the feng shui humans use to place your furniture on earth, because earth is all that matters. So I think that there's no Shen because Shen is earth and also arousal. So those 8 extraordinary vessels, they go do whatever they do. They become this Nijing 2. This is how they're charted. This as an interface, gravity. Since I'm not using it to do invasive TCM, right? Because this is all in the body and the mind on its own. I'm just like looking for something to dry this up with. The Nijing 2, so this first ancestry here, these are the vessels that have to do with like how we understand the world, how we interpret things. These are the way vessels, and Taoism is the way, WEI. This is how we do this. These are the last 2 of the bagua, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How cool is that? I think it's interesting that you go from the bum to the head to the heart. When I was thinking this has to be biopsychosocial, how could it be any other way? Obviously, the weaver is more important than the child on the bridge because she can disrupt that. The weaver has the power to disrupt generations, a new generation. But also, this is the path of the vagus nerve. So here is where we place the Tantra, where it is taught, how it is directed from the outside in is typically, if this is your belly button, you'll be guided like 2 fingers down and in. So you'll be guided like into this area here. It's shown here. I experience it higher. So I guess we all have our own ground. We all have our own earth. Spleen is very important as it relates to the water element. I don't know if the spleen human is still there. This junction here, this is shown as fire, and this is related to kidneys. So when the fight happens, fight, flight, this lets off, it steams, right? But look, the spleen does not intersect with that in this. So again, it's just a way to guide into the body that doesn't make you look at charts and organs. That's your doctor's job. I mean, do it. I love looking at charts and organs. This is what I want in my environment, though. This is going to remind me, you know, like, oh, happy Buddha. Maybe I'm having too much vision. Maybe I need some practicality with Lao Tzu, with the wise old man. Some of the stories. I know I have a bean available on my KDZ place. But just one sec. Oh, I'm going to show you how this relates to land back, the concept of land back, your spleen, earth, and this is definitely going to become some sort of feng shui service that I offer to skinny white yoga chicks. They won't know any better, and they have the money. Okay. So land back. The very most important element in any consideration in anything TCM, Chinese cosmos, the most important is earth, like the literal dirt. So I never got into feng shui because you have to I have a hard time in the third dimension, but feng shui operates based on the placement of earth, not just the placement of north. And isn't land back all about earth? So I did a little poster here. These are the 5 elements as they are in your body: metal, earth, fire, wood, water. If we were to look at time, you can plot time on earth as a yin and a yang. This turns into your organs. I have a lot of different ways of showing this, but space in TCM, earth does not exist. Earth only exists if it's inside. If I am in an environment or at a location, then it's earth apparent. Then it's where is earth. And this again is why I believe we really need to begin with sense of bomb, ass in the grass. Get everybody literally on something. My sense is that's really all we're being asked to do, is sit down and listen. Listen, not understand, just listen. And to listen in a way that is, it's hard to do if you are guilty of not being awesome, which I am. But it's really important. So what this shows is we're going to do somatics that bring back to the ground. And that, by the way, is going to move into some of these yang channels, these active channels here that become more yin when we recline. And so there are a lot of positional things that we can do. I do this a lot with the word is inherent. This space here is inherent. So relating to the child on the star bridge, doing the sounds and everything is great. This big nudge here, this is what, this is dorsal. This is when the vagus nerve becomes dorsal in this chart. This chart, however, says that we balance dorsal because this moves. This is a movable thing. This is a tensegrity structure. These are the two fixed points. Here's a movable point. And this occurs in the pericardium. This isn't the heart. This is connective tissue. When we have this experience of buoyancy, you're going to see it externally through the xiphoid process right here. This kind of buoyancy here, though, creates almost like you get like a this kind of experience. And that creates, again, more space, more capacity, more room, more awareness, or not. I don't know. I'm not in your body. So yeah, I have to learn how to broadcast a class. I'm not a class broadcaster. I'm a intuitive responding human. So I'm trying to do this as much as I can so that it is largely self-paced. I don't want to be a barrier. Oh, thank you. The CMY takes us into the Tantra because it also takes us into the mind. So knowing that this maps the homunculus to this crown up here, the mountains, maps the homunculus. And now knowing, and I'll just trust me on the information science. I have done something which I think is really fucking cool, which is I created your brain. So in the CMY, this, by the way, this is just to translate for today because we're not in pre-printing press China. So this singular being, this whole ass being, is as though I'm a doctor or I'm a practitioner or I'm a guide, right? I'm going to guide you. These are how thoughts are going to land. Anything that has a number, anything that is a measurement, anything that I have to go to the DSM, I have to go to law school, I have to have a license, all of that is just inherently, it's going to end up somewhere here, which is your corpus callosum, but it's also your sagittal plane. So, or sagittal axis. So in dimension, this is called sagittal and this is called coronal. Okay, so the corona of the mind is the homunculus in pictures. I don't have all my pictures here, so we'll just do that. But also the sagittal is the corpus callosum, and something really important happens when information comes into us, and that is some of it flips at the corpus callosum. It mirrors. And when we are guiding humans and guiding thought, we need to be very aware, like so aware, because a distorted, a dissociated, traumatized, cancer, anything, you're just, it's already starting. This, by the way, these are not bad. They're orientations. This is kind of like what we're going for, right? We want to have like a nice whole experience. You can see like there's big landscape. This becomes the horizon. And so this is where the Bagua would be placed. This is where yin and yang are. This is the I Ching. This is all the philosophy, but the practicality of earth, the placement of earth, occurs in the central palace. I did this because I just needed to be able to show people, and then I verified. Okay, so I go backwards because it needs to be verified. But contemplate like placing a thought. Like when somebody says nervous system regulation, that can only happen here. Regulation can only occur through division. Only. Only. It is an aspect. It is not a total. Homeostasis, wholeness. that's the lived experience. And so the way that the meridian channels, when you look at an acupuncture chart, man, I'd really like trash this. Hold on, let me get you an acupuncture chart. These channels, these are like a street map. Right? So when you go to the acupuncturist, something that happens on one side of the body is going to be reflected equally on the other side of the body. As an example, when I was having breast cancer and I was doing 30 rounds of radiation, no, we were not touching this side of me. I was receiving treatment on my other side. But we do not do that with our thinking. We certainly don't do that with our perception. And so the view that is this one, this is what's happening internally when your Chinese medicine doctor does something on one side. This is what we are attuned to experience in all dynamics that include any kind of power. This is our inherent alignment. This is what we have to do to get shit done. This is all of Western medicine, by the way. And so if I'm dysregulated in my nervous system and I have to get regulated in my nervous system and this is happening and I go there and you're measuring and I'm there and I'm blah, 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 and all of it, and we're getting to, this is why people don't like Western medicine, because it treats symptoms, not whole, but also it's blind. It cannot see whole. Neither can anybody speaking this language in the wellness space. It creates a blinder. This is, I think, the largest barrier to decolonization right now, cognitively. So I'm suggesting that we just contemplate as though post-traumatic growth is a thing, because that's how the world is set up. The world is set up to grow. The world is set up. What we are experiencing right now is not natural. It is not inherent. There is nothing natural or inherent about $23 million going to a costume museum while other humans are being eradicated. It's just wrong, okay? It's just messed up. It's not one individual. We're out of alignment to the horizon. We just need to remember the child on the bridge. If we are all remembering the child on the bridge, the spontaneously perfected child, our actual, look at that. They gave us a literal child, those nice Chinese. And then the nice Katie stayed interested in that her whole life. So you didn't have to like almost die like she did. But I want to read you. I thought I had a translation of this with me. I'm going to stay on until the garden gummies become too apparent for me to pretend like they don't matter. Oh, here we go. I should have a translation. This translation should be on my website. If it's not, it will be on my website today. This translation of the Nijing 2. So in the temple in Beijing, China, where this was found, the guy who found it writes like, oh, I had never seen anything like this. Everything, I cannot tell you. As an information architect, this is the most brilliant piece of information design I have ever encountered, ever. I'm applying anti-propaganda design principles to this work, and it is so easy because this is so brilliant. So the way that the translation, the first translation discusses the child on the bridge. I devote myself to the cultivation of my field. This is my field, okay? Inside, there's a sacred sprout alive since time began. Its flower is yellow gold. Its color is familiar. The seed is like a jade pearl, the fruit always round. Fruition relies upon the earth at the central palace and the irrigation from the upper valley spring. One day, the great Tao is realized, and you will wander carefree as an immortal. You will also experience alchemical birth. My experience of alchemical birth was 100% based on my alignment of mind. Should not have happened, by the way. There's nothing in my practice. It wouldn't happen to other humans, by the way, because I obviously have been doing other things. But I haven't been actively engaging in the like very, very hardcore tantric practices because I've just been trying to survive. Fruition relies upon the earth of the central palace. Not ass in the grass. We got to get a little bit above the peen. Okay, we got to understand. And thanks to the beautiful, amazing comment noting that the arousal that comes from the planet, the arousal that we feel this way isn't the same experience that we have with the Shen here. So it's more primal. What says it's one, so the irrigation from the upper valley spring, that is when you do the healing smile, which I'll remind you again, you can get in that little bathroom book thing, which is now a download. You bring the tip of your tongue to the ridge behind your upper teeth and smile. As we get more into this, because I'm going to have to just record some guided things for you, but as you practice this, it's like I experience it as sweet. It's like sweet saliva. But this irrigation, okay, this is also speaking to the water element in the body. Because remember, I told you physics matters and water floats when it's frozen. Okay, so we can't just have it all stuck up here. We got to keep it flowing. This is also, by the way, your default mode network. There's a whole zone of brain, which it's just a network of brain that has to do with default, with like chill. My chill is not so chill because my brain is damaged, but I mean, that's what it's doing. That's what its job is. And then I go, okay, well, then I'll just have a little Millennium Falcon on my default mode network. Like I can do that. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for giving me Shen of the Earth. So yeah, and now the garden gummies have arrived. It may not be obvious to you, but it's extremely obvious to me. Hi, this is Darla. She's my boss. Okay, I'll see you soon. I'm going to work on, I'm not sure what. I think I said I would get you, I want to get like a basic free bundle together, at least with this Nijing, and make it like obvious. So I will see you soon. And I'll record some stuff for the YouTube that is just guided stuff with the pictures. I'll see ya. Bye.